into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
We're feeling a little patriotic tonight. Here we are, guys. We're doing our AfterBuzz recap for State of Affairs Season 1. It's the pilot episode. I'm your host, Stef Z, and tonight on the panel, I'm joined by...
Hannah.
Julian.
And English. Hey, y'all.
Hey, guys, so we're really excited about this new show. They threw a lot of action, a lot of information at us. We're going to kind of dissect it. We're going to see where we think the show is going to go.
Right.
We like that you guys are watching at home. Always give us your questions, comments, anything you guys think is going on. If we have any CIA folk, I know you might not be able to say it, but always give us your tidbits too, because we're learning a lot about the CIA in this show.
Right. Yeah. A lot more than I bargained for. I just really didn't know that much, so I feel like that's not true and that's not right, but
well, I do know that on shows like this, they definitely have a retired CIA or a, you know what I mean? Like they have like somebody, they have consultants on the show because, you know, it has to be legit to some sort of, you know, of course it's TV, so it's not play by play what would happen, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. But like with other shows, like I know cops are on shows for all like the cop shows out there. They always have like a retired cop or somebody on show to be like, no, actually you would hold the gun this way or whatever, you know? So we've got Katherine Heigl. What are your guys' first impressions of her in this new role that's something different from like the movie actress or the Grey's actress that we know? What do you guys think about her?
I like her in this role. I didn't expect it. I thought it was kind of refreshing in that she's not Izzy Stevens.
Right.
You know, I just felt like it's hard when you've played. I mean, I'm not an actor, but I can imagine that it's hard when you play a role for so many years to kind of shake that. And I feel like she did. I feel like I got a different character this time around, which is, like I said, refreshing and fun.
What about you, English? What do you think?
I don't know. I like it. I like her in general. I know there was a lot of controversy with her after Grey's and her like very hard to work with. So I was really trying to see like how her chemistry with her co-stars and everything. But I think she actually did pretty good. She's believable, and she always plays a strong character in every role that she plays. So I feel like she did a good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her.
I agree. I felt like as soon as I saw her, and not, you know, we start this episode with an action-packed flashback, and she's having this flashback when she's clearly in, you know, the shrink's office, you know, sitting there trying to rehash this, deal with this incident. And I feel like as soon as we saw her, there was a presence, like a strong woman presence, and it was something that I agree with you. I was a little bit shocked because I was like, how is this going to translate? She always plays, like, I feel like this is the most serious role I've seen her in. So I was kind of like, is it going to be believable, or is it just like, why was she cast? You know, like there was all these questions, and as soon as she came on screen, I was like, she's got this.
But then, you know, what was weird is that it did start off with her being very, like, a serious person, and then the next thing she's in a bar, like, drunk with, and then the next thing is, like, a man in the bed with her. So it's like...
I thought the same thing. Like, when she was in the bar, she was a completely different character. It was she was so much more fun and crazy, and I felt like we never actually got back to that throughout the entire episode. But I'm interested to see how they end up playing with that side of her as the season progresses.
Right.
Yeah, that is interesting because we see that, you know, clearly if you work in the CIA at any level, I'm sure it's a very stressful job. So I want to know, and I'm sure, like you guys said, we'll learn, is that bar going, drinking, sleeping around, is that just part of her dealing with what happened, or is that really who she is? Like, does she have this for lack of a better word, dark side or crazy side, and then she's got this like straight laced side for work, and then like it's all work and it's all play. Like I wonder how they're gonna balance that.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of what trauma you've experienced in your life or who you've lost, I think there's something to be said about the fact that that probably is a very stressful job, and so you have to knock back a few, or as she feels as though she may have to. So I'm also interested in seeing how they're going to integrate that, or if they'll even come back to that throughout the season as it progresses. So.
Yeah, the only thing I do question is her being a little bit of a sex addict, trying to cope with losing her fiance.
Oh, I'm excited for that part.
Yeah. Mind you, her fine fiance, because he was cute.
Well, he was very handsome.
Sad Aaron's gone.
I thought it was odd. And maybe I'm missing something, or I'm a little confused. I thought she's dealing with her fiance's death in a very unconventional way. I guess
it's been a year past, so
I think they said 6. Actually, did I?
No, I think it's 1 year.
1 year.
Because at the end when we'll get to that, but just to clear, at the end when they jumped to the president giving, because remember it was the speech of the 1 year anniversary.
Oh, yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
that is true.
That was my confusion. I was like, it's only been maybe a month since the guy died.
Yeah,
and you're already...
I believe it was a year.
So it was a 1 year anniversry. Okay.
I made up the 6 years. I don't know where I got that.
She's like 6 years later. She better be getting out and sleeping around. Jeez,
right.
Dry spell.
And they just found Fada after 6 years.
Yeah,
that would be crazy, right?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, I think too, and while we're speaking of Katherine Heigl's character, her name Charleston Charlie on this show. So a little background. We did a little research, and a little background is apparently she was a field CIA agent, and she kind of got handpicked to be the person who gives the president the daily briefings. And pretty much, from what we understand so far, and again, if you guys are out there, if you have some more knowledge than we do, let us know. We watch the show and we go live right after the show, so we don't have that much time to dissect it rather than just what's fresh in our mind. But so the chain of command is people bring the important issues to her. She figures out the level of priority, puts it in the daily briefing, and she then is the one that briefs the president. So she does have the power to, not that she should, but she could leave things out if she wanted to. You know what I mean? Like she's not supposed to.
They're depending on her
to relay all of the information, which we see in this episode that she doesn't. So it's a little bit fishy about some of the process, but
which I feel like they let her get away with because she does have such a relationship with the president.
Yeah,
there's that level of trust. So to some degree, she's held a little bit to a lower standard that someone in that position generally would be held to.
Yeah. I agree with you in the beginning, but again, and we're going to jump around a little bit on this episode because it's the first one, so we're just putting the whole puzzle together.
There's a lot.
But we do see at the end that what this season shows us is that the president, who, yes, is Aaron's mother, so we've got a female president, we've got a black female president, which is awesome. Right. You know what I mean? Like they
jumped like 20 years on this like in reality.
I mean,
we're gonna have
sooner.
we don't have
but
if we have someone else, it's gonna be another like 8 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Obama still has 2 more years, so I'm just jumping a little bit.
And
it may be me.
And while we're there, we will vote for you, girl. English for president. You heard it first here. Get your votes in.
So I take it you're the campaign manager then.
Yes. I will. I got you, girl. Okay, I got you. Me and you, we got it. You win.
West Coast, East Coast.
Yeah, we got it all. We got the whole thing figured out. Alfre Woodard, from 12 Years a Slave, plays the president, who I believe that her name is Constance, because we have a scene at the end where they're talking to people. They're kind of talking as family, not, job. So we hear her name is Constance. But we also see my point that I was getting back to in what, at the end when they show the previews of the season, we see that the president actually orders for Charlie to be followed everywhere. So I don't know. Is that trust going to be lost? Who knows what's going to happen?
I keep thinking, though, that comes back to how at the end when she's having those flashbacks and she's having that conversation with Nick, that maybe she did something bad. Like, obviously. So the president finds that out.
Or if like they're about to catch Fada. I think Fada is gonna be. We're gonna try and catch him this whole season.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of trying to catch Fada.
Yeah. Okay.
He is the main character, which if you want to, or the main suspect right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into his character?
Episode, there is no what else is the point?
Yeah.
So I feel like Alfre or Constance or the president, POTUS, so many names. She may feel like that. I'm like trying to call everyone by their real name. Charleston isn't trying to like release information, and so she may feel like she maybe didn't really love my son. So now I want you to watch her.
Interesting.
Ooh, that's a left field.
Because let me jump a little bit more. Now I'm excited about it. Woo! Well, because we did see that when at the end they were saying that Fada was like kind of her alliance or something. Like, didn't he kind of
they're
mention
involved somehow?
They're involved somehow.
Or they have some sort of a connection somehow.
Well,
Right.
so let's introduce Fada. So apparently, in the beginning of the show, we see a flashback to Afghanistan.
Right.
That is apparently a trip that Charlie and Aaron and POTUS were
Right.
on together.
Right.
And we see Katherine Heigl, in bed saying that she's not feeling this trip. She doesn't want to go. She doesn't think it's important. So there's a little bit of that premonition that something's bad is going to happen on this trip for her. And there was a lot of flash forwards in this, so that I like that though. I like that they jump around.
Aaron, we'll just say what Aaron's job. He was an aid worker, and she was an aid CIA. What
She was
it?
a CIA agent. She was still the agent.
Okay, so I'm trying to get why they were all on the trip together.
They didn't exactly say that yet.
Okay.
So I don't know that we know. And again, if we missed it, like I said, guys, we watch it and then we go live. So let us know. But they didn't say that. They just said that the three of them were there, and clearly Charlie gets away, the president gets away, and Aaron gets killed, and she sees him get killed. So, and we think it's by Fada, who's this terrorist, guy, and his people.
Right.
So that's why it's so important that we want to go in and get Fada, because he killed the president's son and her fiance. So that's kind of a little bit backstory about Fada's character. At the end, we learn that Fada could be a CIA asset, not only a CIA asset, but he worked for Charlie. Mm-hmm. So yes, does Charlie maybe know that going on this trip is gonna maybe put them all in danger? So that's why she's having the moment in bed saying, I don't think we should do this. Like, does she think maybe something's gonna go wrong? Is there some other reason? Because we do see her withhold information in this episode. Right. So is there some other reason that she had this relationship with Fada to get something else? Like, is she somewhat maybe responsible for this death?
And then someone, which we'll speak about later, someone's texting her that really doesn't know about Fada. So maybe
he does know.
He knows about Fada somehow, but
we don't know.
We don't know
he's
how.
not supposed to know.
He's not supposed to know about Fada. Only a few people know about.
Only her and this Nick character. There was a lot of characters introduced, and I know it's like they want to give you all the pieces of the puzzle, and at each episode it's like, oh, they fit together. They fit together. So Nick is introduced as someone clearly that she's sleeping with, and he's introduced more to the end, but it's someone that she's sleeping with that knows where the hidden guns are in her apartment, and also knows about what happened with Fada.
Right.
Which makes me wonder. So yes, he obviously knows where these guns are, and they have been intimate in some way, in many ways apparently. Well, it's kind of. I'm really interested in knowing really where Nick is the
Nick is the character that's in her apartment at the end.
I'm really interested in knowing, where did Nick come from? Why does he have a connection? Why is he beat up?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how does he come into play with regards to the CIA? Because I get the feeling that he worked, or he was
maybe
an agent,
he's
or
like
he
an
was
ex-agent
or something. Because she did mention that he went dark, and that's. I mean, I don't know. That's probably like CIA jargon or whatever for
He's inactive or whatever. Yeah,
so it's just, I'm sorry, I'm not a CIA guy, but
I feel like we're gonna learn more and more.
Yeah,
and
I know.
more.
I'm just learning all of this vernacular and this jargon, but I wonder if what's the reasoning for him going dark? Like, why is he now being introduced? But really why he left?
Well, maybe he was there maybe he was in Afghanistan in the beginning and did something wrong or got hurt or something. Like, there's definitely, and again, it's the first pilot, and of course they want to do this. They want to leave us like, what?
Yeah.
So that we come back and watch
a lot of
more.
plot branches.
Yeah.
They should have definitely introduced the characters more appropriately, though.
What do you
I
mean?
like it. Yeah, what would you have liked to see?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't even know anybody's names. Like, and not only that, but it's just like we had to kind of look up to see what everyone's job was, in opposed to usually we know like the chain of command that's in like the president, like White House, like the vice president, the secretary, you know, like the president, like everyone, like the you know, it's like, so we don't know, and it seems like a lot of the jobs are like, okay, you work for the CIA, but then now you're going to go brief the president on what's going on in the news. It just seemed like a lot, and there was like no press secretary, which that would, I think, would be the main job for the person to present to the president to talk about. I don't know. It just seemed like the normal chain of command. So it's like when we're seeing like the people, we're like, okay, who is that sitting on the couch with her? Is that the vice president? Is that her husband? It's just like the introduction to everyone was very like scattered, and then we don't remember their faces from when they did say it. So it kind of seemed a little bit off.
And maybe that's something that they'll probably, I mean, I don't know, but I haven't seen, I've only seen one episode, so maybe that's something that will happen as the season progresses.
Yeah.
There'll be better descriptions. I think you're right. I think they're probably just throwing all of this at us to kind of have us fill in the blanks. But
gaze over it. You know what I mean? Like we saw when we saw her actually get to the White House the first time, where she left out the information about Fada, and she was just talking about the doctor who had been captured. We do see, a man sitting on the couch, and we're not sure who he is, but later we hear that he's
the chief of staff.
Of staff. So they are like, it's like they're dropping breadcrumbs, and we got to just kind of find them and go over here and go over here, and in that we'll be like, okay, now I get it. Now I know it's all there.
Which is great though, because I don't like to be spoon-fed on anything that I watch. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I do kind of like that everything is a little vague, and we kind of have to pick it up after and figure it all out and place it.
I do like that. I agree with you. I kind of like that it is vague, but it is in the same sense, like it would be good. And I think too, I think a lot of it is just they want to get the viewer that cares enough to figure out why is this really the way it happens? What happens? What are we doing here, there? And again, it's another one of these shows that we see. I mean, for me, the homelands, the scandals, it's kind of like you see there is this corrupt thing going on that we're not 100% sure of, so that's what's believable. Like, is this guy that we think is the head of the terrorist Fada, is he really connected to the woman that is debriefing the president every day? Like, how crazy could that be? But it may be possible.
Yeah, it may be real.
Yeah.
And she maybe only got in a relationship with Aaron to get that job.
Oh.
See, look, I'm writing the script too.
You never know. Never know what's gonna happen.
These shows now are crazy.
Yeah, they really are. And we see that. We see that in this when we see Khan introduced, the character of Khan, because clearly he's, he has a secret phone in his hat that he got into the CIA.
Which is not the first time that's happened.
Yeah, so it's like you see these things happening that you're like, how does that happen? How does the CIA let a phone get snuck in a top hat?
One thing that really...
in their building.
In their own building, that's kind of weird. Another thing that I feel like was kind of strange was, why is it that the president is not shocked, not curious, not any... She emoted nothing when she was informed of the fact that Khan is now missing and his whereabouts are unknown.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like, there's a line of questioning that needs to happen as the president of the United States.
Right.
When you're supposedly one of your biggest intelligence assets is missing.
And you would think, like, during briefing, like, everyone, like, usually you see, like, when the president sits down, it's like the whole staff is sitting down so everyone knows what's going on in the briefing. Like, we didn't see a vice president. We didn't see anyone but, like, the silly little CIA reporters, which I shouldn't say silly, but they have a lot of knowledge. Yeah. It's only them sitting there with the head guy of the CIA who didn't know about the guy who snuck the phone in before. Like, you didn't read up on this person, Khan, who's coming in the building.
Well, I think that guy's a little shady. My feeling on him is going to be a little shady because with the Khan thing, and we also get introduced to another character, Sid, who, when Charlie feels like when she starts getting these texts of someone that knows what she's wearing, calls her outfit funk chic. You know what I mean? Like, clearly is in the know of what's happening, is kind of like toying with her, being like, I see you. You don't see me, but I see you right now. I know what's going on in your world right now.
You think it might be the CIA director?
I don't know.
He's a little shady.
Right.
Because if you're a director, you know who's coming. Like, if they have the power to suspend her and then immediately shut down her from walking through, like, the buildings and everything, they have the power to know, and face recognition and all of that, to know if this person has been caught before trying to come in the building with a smuggled phone.
Right.
Yeah. So it just doesn't add up.
Right. So in that, we're introduced to another character, Sid, who apparently is a friend of Charlie's, who she can just call, who is played by, oh my God, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that thought it was Richard from Sex and the City. Loved him. Side note. Anyway, who clearly, he's the inside guy. Like, was he part of the CIA? Like, who is Sid?
Yeah.
That he then just goes and intercepts Khan's drive to the White House to give the president the information that Charlie withheld, knowing that, like, so he's clearly a confidant of Charlie's. Mm-hmm. He intercepts him and finds the phone and doesn't take him to the White House. So who is he? Like, how's that happen?
Maybe he's like retired.
So many plot twists, so many plot branches. It's like,
it's awesome.
It's awesome. I mean, yeah, that's why you watch TV, shows like this, to kind of have it unravel. It's like an onion, and then you cry at the end. It's great.
Right.
I kind of felt in those, like, couple minutes when he was introduced, kind of like a father figure relationship with her. I mean, I know it was like a quick 1 minute introduction with him, but it just seemed very relaxed. Like,
but he has a lot of
pull. On him.
Yeah, and he has her back.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder his background, but clearly there's a relationship.
Right, it
still.
did. I agree with you. It did kind of give that feel, and it felt like he's, like, not in that environment anymore. He's, like, walking, enjoying his day,
taking the dogs out,
taking like an older
but by
man.
the snap of a fingers, he could have
And
the black car and get it done.
Please, like, he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
And, like, he used to do it, and he can't get, like, he still wants to, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I wonder about that. I kind
Someone in
of...
the upper echelons of the CIA.
Yeah.
Or maybe it isn't the
Maybe
CIA.
it used to be her old
ex-CIA.
boss.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or something.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, wow, I didn't even
definitely
think of
a
that.
relationship there, and I believe it's a work relationship. Like, if you're in the CIA, you don't just call, like, your buddy, like, hey, dude, will you go, like, steal this guy?
I thought they were dating. I don't know. It's me.
But obviously she knows a lot of people and a lot of how to maneuver, like how she knew how to go through the back trash chute door, like, and then
that was another scene that stood out to me that was a little bit sketchy when they put, like, her face and she was not allowed in the building. They wanted to detain her. Yeah, they flagged her, and the security was running after her, and she hid behind a pole and outsmarted the security of the CIA. Come on!
And then when she got dropped off,
feel safe.
Wait, and then when she got dropped off at the front of the White House,
And just
And
walked,
walked
in through
right
the gate.
in.
walked
It's
through the door and then comes through the, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But
It's
honestly,
an open door policy at the White House. I don't know if you know.
Honestly, though, this is a pilot. I've seen pilots that leave you hanging more. Like, I feel like I watched the show. We were all silent when we were watching. It wasn't like there was chatter. We were focused. They had our attention. There's a lot going on. I definitely want more. I want to know what's going to
I
happen.
definitely want to know, because I'm going to be going to sleep like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
I just want my questions answered. I feel like there's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
more
and
so
that's
than
unfair if they don't answer them.
I think they will.
I think they will, but I
Yeah.
think they might string us along a little bit. I think that's kind of part of the game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well,
Yes.
Let it
I just
out.
wanted to make a
Let
noise.
it out. Let it out.
You guys let us know what you think. Go on iTunes, rate and comment our first show on State
Yeah.
of Affairs. Let us know what you think. If we have it all wrong and you guys have the right answers, we will comment back to you. So give us 5 stars just because you're being nice and you love us. And then next
Yeah, what
week
she
when
said.
we do another one next Monday, you'll actually like us because we'll have more to talk about.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I feel like we've kind of. Oh, the other thing is when we see at her, which I thought stood out, and it was kind of weird for me, and maybe this is just something that stood out for me. We see at the memorial for Aaron, we see Miss President speak, and she said that she didn't want any taps for him, and I feel like I get that. He might not have liked it. I don't know. I get that he might not have liked it, but it's such a signature thing for when someone passes away. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the
No.
shooting of the guns.
It's the
and-
it's dun, dun, dun.
Oh,
It's like
right, right,
and then
right.
they shoot the guns.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
if someone in the service dies at the funeral, they play the same song and they shoot the guns. Like when my grandfather passed, he was in World War II. They do it.
Yeah,
Like,
they
they
okay.
do
do.
it at
Then they give you the bullets with the
yeah,
flag.
and they
right,
fold
right.
up the flag and they do the whole thing.
It's like a service.
Yeah, and I feel like that to me led into that there was something about Aaron that was not. They were trying to
Traditional.
tell us exactly. They were trying to tell us that he's not the traditional, soldier or whatever. And the other thing that we also see about Aaron that I'm very curious to know, and I feel like Charlie's covering for Aaron, so to speak, is we see in the first few scenes, we see Aaron there, and we see Aaron get shot. In the last scene, we see Aaron pointing a gun. So
Right.
who's he pointing a gun at? Who does he shoot? Is he shoot at Fada? Who knows? Like, who does he, what is he trying to do in Afghanistan when he's killed? What was
But
he
you know
trying
what's
to do?
weird is that he's screaming at the same place where Charlie is. So did she actually
thought the
kill
same.
him accidentally and then blamed it on Fada? Not the Fada.
Not the
Oh
father.
my God, you're funny.
Who'da Fada?
No, I don't. I definitely don't think she killed him because
I
she
don't-
was
I don't
like
either.
crawling away out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't buy that.
But maybe she's crazy though. I mean, she already doesn't remember a lot. Maybe she's just
Well,
crazy.
but she doesn't remember a lot because she's got post-traumatic stress
Yeah.
syndrome. You know what I mean?
Just-
Like
yeah,
just being in a situation like that. Could you imagine being in a situation like that?
That's
Period.
crazy.
No less seeing your fiance die. Period. No less trying to escape with the president, who's someone that you're, supposed to keep safe. Like all that.
And
running
then
through
now
your
you have
head
to work with his mom every day.
to find the guy that
Yeah, it's
killed
just a
him,
constant
although we
reminder.
don't know if that happened, while knowing that this guy maybe is your CIA informant or something. Like, there's
Yeah,
so
it's
much
weird.
going on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm just stressed just thinking about it, just
I
talking
love
about
it.
it right now. Like,
I
it's
love
kinda
it.
beating out of my chest, my heart. One thing that I really did enjoy was the structure of the structure of the show as far as like the beginning. It was very high action packed at the very beginning,
Yes.
and then you get the state of affairs slate. I feel like we haven't seen that in a while, and especially on NBC. For some reason, I feel like that kind of format really works for drawing viewers in, and it definitely
Right.
drew me in. What
Yeah.
do you guys think?
I agree with
I
you
agree.
a lot.
Right at the beginning, we were just,
Yeah.
there was no build up. It was like right away.
Yeah, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but for me, in my head, it resonates that NBC has a lot of turnover. You see a lot of new shows that get they don't even let the whole season go out and they get canceled. Like right now, I'm covering also Bad Judge, and it's to me, it was like the first few episodes, it was kind of like, oh, what's happening here? It's got potential, it's got legs, but it's a little over trying, and then it got good. By the time it got really good, it was canceled.
Yeah.
So I like this that it's like gonna get good right now.
Yeah.
True.
That's what it's trying to
Because they have
do.
a lot of competition, and like ABC with Scandal,
Yeah,
and
within
How
that
to Get
genre.
Away with Murder, and stuff like that. There's a lot. Like they're already like 7 episodes or 8 episodes in, so
Right.
it's kind of like they have to bring like the Top Gun
Yeah.
out and like hit us hard. So I think that's a little bit why too they're giving us a lot of information, because they're like, take it all in. You need to have it. We need
Right.
the ratings. We're
Yeah.
up against Scandal, which is #1 show.
Right, but in the same sense, it's up against Scandal, but it's not on the same show. Like, what shows is it really competing with Monday Night? Castle, which is amazing.
Yeah, but they don't have a show on their network that's equivalent to Scandal, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Yeah, because I feel like CBS, ABC, like all of the networks have they all have their political dramas, their thrillers, and I think NBC's trying to carve this out for like that genre for them. I think.
Yeah.
You know, they don't
and
really
I think it's different enough. Like in the beginning, I'm like, I really hope I'm not walking into Homeland meets Scandal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the little bit off, Carrie, and then the political, and I don't feel like I was robbed of a new show. I feel like even though it teeters along the CIA, like it teeters in places, I feel like it was its own, it held its own. Do you guys agree or do you disagree?
I
think that it's because there's so many of these political dramas now. I think I'm just saying I might be kind of reaching a saturation point with this genre, but I didn't really feel like it was more or less of any of the things that I saw as far as similarities are concerned. I think there were a lot of plot branches that will keep me interested. I'm interested in seeing how I think this is a pilot, so.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of similarities, but I'm interested in seeing how they differentiate themselves throughout the season. I don't think in a pilot we can really say whether or not, or I can't really say whether or not it's the same or different, because there are so many similarities to other shows, but there are differences too. So I don't know. I can't really have an answer for you right now.
I hear what you're saying, and I think that what you're saying is completely valid. For me, I just didn't walk away being like, it's totally trying to be Homeland.
I was entertained.
I was definitely entertained. I think it's just another show behind the veil of the White House. Right. We're getting able to see like the real life, like, we don't get, as Americans, we don't really get introduced into behind the scenes of White House. So everyone speculates. Everyone wants to know what really goes on. Right. I think it's just another introduction, which has been all of these shows. Right. So that's the similarity that I see. But I don't know. There are, like you said, a lot of plot branches that aren't similar, that we can kind of attach ourselves to and be like, ooh, I wonder what's going on here. Yeah. I wonder what's going on here. I'm an avid Scandal fan. Like, I love Scandal. So it's kind of good to see, like, a different side, but then it is a little bit confusing because you're like, hey, that's not how they operate on,
Yeah.
So, but, it's good to see.
Right.
Like The Good Wife and like all those other shows. It's just different aspect of the White House. So.
All right, cool. Well, is there anything else that stood out to you guys in the pilot episode that we want to go over before we give some predictions and move on? Anything else?
Reckless personal behavior is a good quote. I don't know why that stood out to me. Just reckless. I'd never heard it mentioned in that way. It kind of made me look internally and question.
Me too. Why'd you say it like that? I'm like,
do you guys need a hug after this show? I'm a really good hugger.
I think so. But aside from that, I think we're pretty much covered.
All right, sweet. Let's move on to some predictions of where this show might go. Let's start over there with you, English.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't trust anyone because it's the pilot. I don't trust anyone when I first meet them. Well, you guys, I do, but on the show, I just feel like no one is trustworthy. So I feel like Khan is up to something. I feel like, we know he is. Yeah. I feel like Charlie is not telling the full truth on some stuff, which I feel like we'll learn a long way down the line. So that may be my prediction every week. And then, what else? I feel like that's it. I can't wait for next episode.
All right. Moving along.
I think Nick is going to... my prediction for Nick, there's so many different ways it can go because I don't trust Nick right away because of the fact that he knows where these guns are, and that's kind of sketch. But I think Nick might be, because of the way he was introduced as a suspect, kind of like shady character, he might be someone that may be like an asset.
I was gonna say a rock for her.
Yeah, a rock for her. I think that may be where they're going. They want to lead the viewer to think that he's bad, but he might actually be someone that saves the day or like helps her out in some way.
All right. What about
I
you?
think they're going to be hooking up
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not so concerned about the saving the day. I'm like, oh, they're going to be hooking up, definitely, for sure. And also that Lucas Newsom, who we didn't even really talk about.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot with him being involved with her and them actually working very, very much so together, and that relationship developing a lot. My predictions are more so for the relationships. I'm catching up on all the political stuff, so I'm excited actually to learn.
Wait, who
every
is
week
Lucas?
with them.
Lucas is the one that came in the elevator.
Is
and
he new?
He seems that he's new to the CIA because they had other people that they had specific titles underneath, like they had specific sections of what they followed in order to brief, and they. It was interesting how they right away. I went to college in North Carolina too, so I understood this very well. The Tar Heel Duke rivalry. So they right away put this is a big rivalry.
But he didn't do anything. So what does he do? He was just sitting at his desk.
the new
I think
briefer.
He's the brief, but I think the fact that he's new, and the fact that there is this
So
little
he's
rivalry.
taking her job?
No,
I don't think he's
not
taking her job. I think
job.
it may be just a matter of just being the new guy.
Oh, he's just
and
added on the
not-
team.
Yeah, and
Okay.
maybe they don't. You don't trust the new person yet.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
You're
right.
setting them up for the
yeah.
And then
fall
he's
in
just
love
sitting,
later.
but because
the
he's just
relationship
sitting on
expert
the
here.
desk.
Well, the first thing she says to him is, "You're very handsome," or
Right.
and then very old. But I felt
I
like
think
that was
very
saving face.
facetious.
Yeah.
I think that they had to have
too.
information about each other beforehand, and
Yeah.
it was.
So-
I think so.
Okay.
And the fact that it was oh, you're getting up at 2 a.m. too, because that call we see was that they had to be there at 2 a.m. in the
Right.
morning. So I feel like she kind of knew. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. My predictions are, I think it's going to be a fun show. I think that we're going to see lots of arcs. I think we're going to see lots of different plot twists. We're going to see a lot of different things going on. I think we're going to learn some more stuff about the CIA.
Yeah.
I'm a
Hopefully.
conspiracy theorist, so I'm going to be like, there's lies everywhere. It's just shady.
Right.
But, no, I'm just kidding. But I like to see it all happen, so I'm really excited. And I can also predict that we're going to be back here next Monday doing another after show.
Yes, we
Yes,
will,
we are.
God willing.
But until then, let's tell the people where we can find you
You guys can find me on Instagram at Pink English, as well as on Twitter, English Speaks.
You guys can find me all across the board at Julian Dujarric.
You can find me on Instagram at hot_shot_dude and on Twitter at HannahKathleen2.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Stef Z. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Come back next week. Have a great night.
Yay.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.